Hey everyone, Shaedow here, and welcome to another Marvel Contest of Champions video. So this video is Act 5.3.1. Okay, the first chapter of 5.3. I finally got around to starting on this. The reason why I hadn't started it earlier is because I like to take my time, and I tend to do the monthly content first. But if I take my time with the monthly content, and I'm doing arena at the same time, I usually don't have that much time or the energy points to, work on the story content. But this month, what I did was I rushed through the monthly content for more tries at Blade before he left the crystal. So I actually got done with Uncollected, Master, and Heroic pretty early. Then I went through Normal and Beginner just to get some points for the Marvel Insider, and if you guys haven't done that, you should look into it if you are able. You get some pretty cool free stuff. Alright, so anyway, this particular chapter, and I'm not sure about the other ones, but this chapter has a particular mechanic. Each lane or each path has one class that is allowed to do full damage, and all the other classes do like half damage. And the path that I'm taking right now, which is the first path through, Mystics are the only ones that can do full damage. Everyone else gets a 50% reduction, I believe, to their damage. Now, you saw the team that I went in with. I did not go in with a team of full Mystics. I don't think that is necessary if you have champions that can do some pretty good damage. Archangel, for example, Stark Spidey. They will do less damage than they would otherwise, but they still do pretty good damage, as you guys will see. But I started off the fight with Ghost Rider. He's a beast. He's also Mystic. And I just wanted to try out the path. And since I was fighting this guy, and he's bleed immune, I try to use him all the time. Alright, so down he goes. And I did not find this chapter to be difficult. I actually had more of a hard time with 5.2.5. Whichever chapter did the Bane, I think that was the chapter. And the Masochism also gave me a headache. So I went in here with Stark Spidey. And the way you want to play him, if you haven't played around with him already, is you want to build up those poise charges. You build up the poise charges by doing an evade, not an auto evade, but you have to actually do an evade, and you'll see the dexterity buff pop up. That's when you get your poise charges. Now, when Spider-Gwen is very easy to fight, but that right there can be very annoying because now she's going to evade like crazy, and she did it twice. Very annoying, and look at the damage that she's doing through my block. That was getting me really upset, and so I said, you know what, I'm just going on for the attack, and we're just going to try to throw off that special and see if we can take her out. And down she goes. We were able to take her out, but look at how much damage I took without taking any clean hits. That's all block damage. Ridiculous. But it is what it is. Spider-Man Stark Enhanced doesn't have good block proficiency, so it's to be expected. You trade that for the awesome damage that he can do. So knowing that, I went and I used a heal. You can see that I don't have that many heals because I've been doing 5.2 full completion. I did 2 chapters of that, and I used up my health potions and all that good stuff. So I'm fighting Gambit here. You can see I'm building up the poise charges. Standard way to handle Spidey. And I try to max him out. I try to get 10 poise charges, but sometimes that's not possible. You will get backed up into the corner pretty quickly. But once you start attacking with those 10 poise charges, keep in mind that he's not Mystic, so he's taking a hit to his damage, half damage. And look at the damage he's able to do, even with that reduced damage node. Stark Spidey is awesome, and I love fighting with him. Ownage. That's just nuts. Now that fight would have been over a long time ago had I been doing full damage. And I'm also running suicides. So Double Edge is active. I do not have Liquid Courage active. I find that to be a nice compromise. I don't poison myself, so I'm not hurting my healing abilities. And the Double Edge doesn't last forever. Alright, so as you can see, I brought in Scarlet Witch for this fight. She's a mystic, so she's doing her full damage. She's still a queen in my book. She may have to share the spotlight with Medusa, but I still like using Scarlet Witch for quite a few things. Now, one of the drawbacks to running suicides is that recoil damage. That's the main drawback. And so every time I fire off a special, I take recoil damage. And with Scarlet Witch, her special 2 is her bread and butter. So that means that even if I play perfectly and I do not get hit, if I'm firing off her specials and I don't get some really nasty crits that really just take her out, I'm going to take a lot of damage. And as you can see, you know, the fight's not even over and I'm taking damage. Now, with some other champions, I would just fire off their special 3s because their special 3s do, you know, pretty good damage. Not so with Scarlet Witch. For her, I want to fire off her L2. Outstanding. Alright, so down goes Psylocke. Pretty easy fight. Pretty much all the damage I was taking was block damage and recoil. Alright, so the next fight up is Hawkeye. And I don't have a problem fighting Hawkeye either. So this time I said, let me bring Archangel in, see what he can do. Again, he has that damage reduction, but because Archangel does such good damage, I wasn't too worried. And as you guys will see in this fight, Archangel is a beast even when he can't do his full damage. Just look at his health melting away. Hawkeye just doesn't know what to do with himself right now. I'm just amazed. And if Archangel was doing his full damage, this fight would have likely been over by now. My Archangel is a beast. I'm so fortunate to have gotten him. He is my first rank 4 5-star. And even though he is unawakened, as you can see, I have no regrets. Flawless victory. Down goes Hawkeye. No regrets whatsoever ranking up Archangel unawakened. Now, when I do get done with 5.3 and get that awakening gem, I don't remember if it's for just completion or exploration, but when I get that gem, he is going to be a candidate or Stark Spidey. I'm not sure. That's going to be a very interesting decision when the time comes. Alright, so now we got Blade, another beast. Now this is only a 4-star Blade. He's a Sig 99, and he does a very good job against Red Hulk, and so I definitely wanted to bring him in for this fight. Now, again, he is also suffering from that damage reduction, but because he does such good damage, he has his danger sense active and all that good stuff. As you can see, yes, the fight is a little bit longer than it would have been, you know, had we not had the damage reduction, but honestly, it did not last as long as I was afraid it would last. I tell you, he is another beast. Also, I just saw a video, I don't know if you guys saw it, where a 5-star Blade was stun locking Winter Soldier. You know, he had the proper synergies, I forget which synergies they were, but that was an awesome fight. He power gained like crazy, kept going to his L3s, and he basically just kept that guy stunned. If you don't know or you haven't seen it, look that up.
Outstanding.
Alright, and that is Red Hulk down. So far, have not been having any problems whatsoever. I don't know whether this ramps up in difficulty in the later chapters. I'll probably go one pass through and then work on full exploration. So we'll see. And I'll try to record each one as I go. I really need to replenish my stash. Alright, so now we're fighting War Machine. And so I brought in Stark Spidey, didn't bother healing him up. Hopefully at this time I'm thinking I shouldn't need to heal him. As long as I get all those poise charges, the fight should be over pretty quickly. I have to be very careful because he likes throwing those haymakers, as you can see, and I've been having problems where I'm not able to evade. Now, did you guys see that? Stark Spidey got hit, and that ticked me off, and I went on the attack after that. I said, no more poise charges. I'm about to whoop yo behind. And that is pretty much what I did. As you can see, I just baited out his special. The evade saved me right there because I mistimed it. And I basically went on the attack, not really letting up except to bait out a odd special or two. And just took the fight to War Machine. I was really upset and I was like, I'm not letting them do that to me again. You see right there, he was able to evade all of them, no problem.
Brutality.
Yeah, I ain't care if he was blocking or not. Block all you want. Still gonna take you down. Yeah, I was not happy about that fight. Alright, so now I had not planned on using any energy refills on this one, but I had done a few other things before I started this, so I wasn't at full energy. So I knew I was gonna have to use one. Alright, so this next fight is Winter Soldier. Old familiar punching dummy. And so of course I had to bring Archangel in. This is who I used to farm him. So I can't think of anybody else I'd rather bring in. And even though he has that damage reduction, this fight, it's all Archangel. I mean, those neurotoxins, I don't need the ability reduction or anything like that. I just need that damage. And unawakened, he still does all his damage. So if you guys are planning on doing 5.3, hopefully this will help you out. So far the only experience I have is with this chapter, and what I can tell you is that the class restriction is the only thing that I saw, other than one node on Storm. She had a degen on her, but other than that these were pretty straightforward fights. You know, if you know how to fight the champions, you're gonna be just fine. Bring in your mystics. That'll help you out a little bit if you have good mystic champions. If you don't have good mystic champions, but you have some really powerful non-mystics like an Archangel or a Stark Spidey or a Blade, don't be afraid to bring them in, because as you can see, even with the damage reduction, they still put in that good work.
Fatality.
Alright, so that is Winter Soldier down. And again, not that big of a deal. Alright, so the next fight up is against Star-Lord. And let me tell you something. Star-Lord hits hard. Alright? And I didn't like it. You're going to see just how much damage he was doing even though I was blocking. Alright, so I chose Ghost Rider mainly because he is a mystic and he can heal up the damage that I knew he was going to take. He's also bleed immune, so that my double edge didn't affect him at all. So actually a very good champion to use. I did not want to use him a lot. I could have, but I wanted to give a little bit of variety. Now I made a mistake there, and you saw I got caught really good, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, look at his health, look at my health. I can't take a whole lot of that. So now I'm just trying to put judgments on him. Okay, because I'm hoping that eventually I'm going to be able to get that heavy off and regen my health back. But I wanted to do that once I had, enough judgments, because I knew that, you see how he behaved right there? As soon as I hit my heavy, he started acting a little bit more passive and turtling a little bit. And so I needed to have it last a long time, enough to deal with that. And as you can see, I did. Now again, I'm running suicides, so even though I gained a lot of health from doing that L2, I also took the recoil damage as well. So there is a trade-off, but I don't mind it, especially when I have champions that can heal up like Ghost Rider. It's not that big of a deal. But if he couldn't heal up, he would have been dead by now. But I do like Ghost Rider. I like him a whole lot better with Blade. Definitely a beast, with or without Blade synergy.
Finish him.
Alright, so that is Star-Lord down. And Ghost Rider looks a little hurt, but he can always get healed back up, and I can always heal him back up as well. Throw a potion or two in. But I didn't want to do that just yet. I was trying not to use as many items, try to use as few items as I could. Okay, so now Rocket Raccoon, not a hard champion to fight. And Scarlet Witch, using her full damage, I'm thinking, okay, I should be able to take him out pretty quick. He doesn't have a huge health pool. He is another one of those glass cannon champions, so he should be able to go down pretty easy. Now, a little story about Rocket. Back in the day, when they had the old wars, he wrecked my entire group. They put him on an unblockable special 2, and none of us knew how to deal with that, and we got wrecked.
Godlike.
Down goes Rocket. But yeah, I remember we were, obviously we were all, relatively new to the game, and we didn't know how to evade that first part and block the second, and we certainly didn't know about evading all of it as well. So when we got there, and I forget which node it was on the right hand side, you get there, and I think he started with an L2 or something like that, and it was unblockable. It was ugly, because we'd go in there and just get wrecked. Nothing that we didn't know that we could do anything. And then I think my guild leader came in and shook his head and went in there and just took him out easy. And we all looked at him like he was Mr. Wizard. Like, how in the world did you do that? Well, now I know. Now I do it all the time. Alright, so what you saw right there is me checking out the node. And I looked at that Storm, and she had degen. And I said, I don't really feel like dealing with the degen right now. I could have, I could have brought in Archangel and more than likely took her down before the degen got him. But I didn't feel like it, so I said, I'm just going to go in here with, take the other path and go in with Archangel. And I love fighting X-23 with Archangel, because when she does her heavy, I can time his heavy very well. There's a few champions that I can do that with. If they have a long heavy or a long 2-part heavy or something like that, there's a chance I'll be able to do it. Alright, so you saw right there, I kind of messed up because I thought she was doing her heavy, but she didn't. She did her special instead. There, she did do her heavy, and I was able to get her with my heavy. Now, coming up, I'm not going to even narrate and tell you guys what's about to happen. I'll talk about it after it happens. You guys just need to watch and see it to believe it.
Oh, hell no!
Look out! Headshot.
Get wrecked. Tell me that wasn't awesome. Tell me that wasn't a clutch kill right there. Had I not gotten that 20% damage reduction bonus, that would have taken me out. Now let me explain what happened there. Now she started to do her heavy, and so I was about to do my normal heavy when she does her heavy, but the neurotoxins expired and stunned her, so she didn't finish her heavy. So I threw my heavy. That threw me off. Then I saw how little bit of health she had left, and I said, okay, I should be able to finish her off with my special. Well, normally that would have been the case, except I forgot that his damage is gimped. So he wasn't about to do as much damage as he normally would. So the attack that should have finished her off left her with just enough health to fire off her L3. And let me tell you, all while that L3 was going on, I'm just like, I don't believe this. I don't believe this. I got the 20% damage reduction, but I still thought that I was finished. And when the animation was done and I was still alive, I'm like, oh man, I'm alive. And I just started attacking her because I was afraid she would attack me, and I couldn't even take a blocked hit. And fortunately enough, we pulled that out. That was some luck, let me tell you. So I was just sitting there cheesing when that was over. I had to actually take a little break. Alright, so as you can see, I brought Blade in for this fight for no other reason other than I like fighting with Blade. He's a beast, and I needed to give him a little bit of time to regen up a little bit because I wanted to use him in the next fight, which is against Mordo. This fight went pretty smoothly. I didn't experience any of the lag and the glitches that I sometimes do, so for that I was very thankful, and it made this run pretty smooth. Alright, so as you see right there, I'm regenning up. I tell you, even a 4-star Blade, if you guys don't have the 5-star and you can get the 4-star, rank him up, get that sig level up there, and go to town. Alright, so now it's time to play a little bit of keep away. I'm just trying to make sure that my health is topped off for the next fight. And I didn't want to take too many blocked hits, and I wanted to make sure that I could take her out with this L2.
Ownage.
And I was able to do that. I didn't want to take recoil damage right at the end because I wanted to go into this next fight with Mordo with a pretty good amount of health. Alright, so Mordo. Against Blade, it's almost not even fair. Even though we have our damage reduction, Blade with that danger sense active is still who I'd want to use for this fight. Alright, now I don't know if you guys have a hard time fighting Mordo. I may pull this fight out and make a video on it, but as you can see, I try to bait out his heavies. I try to avoid hitting him when he's stunned, although if you time it just right, you can hit him right when the stun ends and before he blocks. It's a dangerous move, but if you get the timing right, you can do that. Other than that, I try to bait out his L1 and his L2. If I see the power gain going on, I will try to back him into the corner and hit him with a heavy attack to stop that power gain. But with Blade's Danger Sense, I don't have to deal with that power gain very often. As you can see, I think we saw it once during this fight, I believe, maybe 2 times. But Blade's Danger Sense, it has a good chance to shut that down. And that is 5.3.1 completed. If you liked the video, please consider smashing that like button. It really helps me out. If you have not subscribed already, please consider giving me a subscription. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this video. Let me know if you found it helpful, whether you finished 5.3 already. What did you think about this chapter if you did? And you guys have a blessed day.